It's time to find some answers to phonological awareness. You can see that phonological awareness, phonics, and phonemic awareness look and sound very alike, but these three terms have distinct differences. The first thing I want you to do when you think of phonological awareness is envision an umbrella, just like the graphic that I've shared with you here. Phonological awareness is the umbrella. It is the whole thing. Underneath the umbrella, we have smaller parts. They could be the raindrops. Phonics is a small part of phonological awareness, and phonemic awareness is also a small part of phonological awareness. Phonics deals with the letters and how they sound. Phonemic awareness deals with just the sounds. Within these two categories of phonological awareness, we have no place for syllables and letter naming, and that's why you see them as a third part underneath the phonological awareness umbrella. Syllables are pulling words apart into vowel-oriented sounds. That doesn't really fall in either category. Letter naming is a skill students must have in order to do phonics, but it is not the skill of phonics because letter naming has nothing to do with the sounds of the letters. These two skills are a part of phonological awareness, but they are not a part of phonics or phonemic awareness. Just remember, when you think of phonological awareness, put the umbrella in your head, and then think of phonics and phonemic awareness as the smaller parts underneath. Now let's see how you've done sorting terms underneath phonics and phonemic awareness. Here we see the answers to the phonological awareness sort, and I want to take a moment to apologize that our phonemic awareness is now on the left and phonics is now on the right. But either way, we know that both phonemic awareness and phonics are part of that big umbrella, phonological awareness. Let's see what phonemic awareness means. First of all, it's auditory. We think of that ear that we learned about last week. It's hearing and manipulating sounds. It's part of oral language. Students do not see print when they are working on phonemic awareness activities. You might use objects or pictures or just speak with a child out loud, but never do they see the words or the letters that you're talking about. Its focus is on sounds, which we call phonemes, and there are 40 phonemes or sounds in our English language. Now, phonics, on the other side, is auditory, but it's also visual. It's where we take the sound and we also give it a letter, so it has a visual component. It's all about reading and writing letters. It's oral, but it's also written, and the focus on letters is called graphemes. There are 26 letters in our English language. Now, here's what's tricky. From those 40 phonemes, we can take the 26 letters and we can get 250 spellings of sounds. So there's 40 sounds in our English language, but there's 250 ways to spell those sounds. And this is the reason why phonics is tricky and phonemic awareness can be tricky, because those sounds, when we go to spell them, get awfully messy with exclusions and rule breakers and different patterns for the same sound. And we'll be looking at those in the next couple weeks. But this is phonological awareness, and we're going to do one more check to see how you've done with the vocabulary within phonemic awareness and phonics. Here it is, the long-awaited answers to your phonological awareness matching quiz. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about each word. So let's start with number 1. Onset is D, the part of a word before a vowel. Not all words have an onset. Let me show you an example. Take these 3 words, cat, make, and fan. The onset is the letter or letters that come before the vowel in the word. So we can see that our letters are letter C, our letter M, and our letter F all come before the first vowel in the word. That is the onset in a word. The next vocabulary word is rhyme. Rhyme is letter F, the part of the word that includes the vowel and what follows after. In our words cat, make, and fan, we see that our rhyme is the back of the word. At, ache, and an are the rhyme in the word. And the rhyme is the part of the word we can make word families out of, because this is where boys and girls learn chunks in reading. So we can look at all the words that end with at, and all the words that end with ache, and all the words that end with an. Onset is the beginning, rhyme is the back that includes the first vowel. Our next term is phonics, and this one should have been an easy one. It's letter B, the use of sound and symbol relationships to read and write. Number 4 is continuous sound, and that is letter M. That M says a sound that can be stretched without distortion. There are many sounds in our English language that you can just hold out forever and they never change. M, N, Ah for O. There's lots of other letters as well. Go through the alphabet and see if you can figure out what letters you can stretch out, and we call those a continuous sound. Number 5, blending, and our answer is letter A. Blending is the connection of phonemes, and in our heads we always think of sounds going together and crashing. This would be where we take sounds and we push them together to make a word. Blending would sound like this: b, at, bat, st, and, stand. It's where we take individual sounds and crash them together to make a word. Number 6, phoneme, is letter E, the smallest unit of language, a speech sound. Number 7, manipulation. This is letter L, the changing of phonemes. This is what manipulation looks like. When we manipulate a sound, we can change it. We can change the beginning sound, we can change the ending sound, we can change the middle sound. So take the word can. We can change or manipulate the beginning of the word to turn it into pan. Then we can change the end of the word, change pan into pat. And then we can change the middle of the word, turn pat into pit. And if we change the middle again, we can turn pit into pet. We call this manipulating because we're changing parts of the word. Number 8, phonological awareness, is letter J, and that's our big umbrella, the ability to hear and manipulate the sound structure of language, including words, syllables, and phonemes. And that again has that syllable part, the phoneme part, and also words, which means print. Number 9, syllable, is letter H, the sound of a vowel part in a word. Let's try this. I have 2 words for us, and we're going to do the syllables. Now, when you're younger, you may have remember doing syllables by clapping. So let's try it with the word professor. Professor. Let's try it with classroom. Classroom. Professor has 3 parts or 3 syllables, and classroom has 2. Sometimes we ask boys and girls to lay their hand underneath their chin, and every time their jaw drops, it's a syllable. Let's try it. Put your hand under your chin. Ready? Professor. 3. Classroom. 2. Now you may feel a little silly doing that, but those are great concrete ways for boys and girls to figure out the syllables in a word. If you notice that each of our syllables has a vowel. And that's how we find out what a syllable is. It's the part of a word with a vowel, and each vowel combination has their own part. Number 10, clipped sound. This is C, a sound that cannot be stretched. Earlier we talked about the continuous sound. This is the opposite. These are the sounds that we can clip or cut. And I always do this visually with my hand like a little alligator mouth. Think of the sounds. T, we say T. B, we say B. D, we say D. All those sounds stop as soon as your mouth gets done saying it. It doesn't hold it continuously like our continuous sound does. So we have clipped sounds and we have continuous sounds. Number 11, grapheme is letter G. The letters used to represent a sound in a word. And this is wherever we take any sound and we name it with letters. Number 12 is letter K. Segmentation is the separation of words into phonemes. Segmentation is the opposite of blending. Remember blending where we took individual letters and we crushed them together? This time we want to segment the sounds like a rubber band stretching apart. Let's see what it looks like. Take the word cat. We say cat is the word. To segment it, pull the rubber band. At. That's segmentation. Let's try it with a harder word. Our word is turtle. Pull your rubber band. T-ert. L. Segmentation is where we pull those sounds apart. It helps boys and girls when they go to write a word because they can stretch the word out like a rubber band and get each sound that they hear. Our last term is phonemic awareness, and this is letter I, the ability to hear and manipulate sounds in spoken words and syllables. So this is the end of our quiz. How did you do? Save your answers to all of the activities we just shared and put it in our participation box at the end of our presentation. I hope you have a better awareness now of the terms in phonological awareness and phonemic awareness and phonics, and also how they relate to literacy learning in the classroom.